I was watching a YouTube video of an interview with a guy who does a guy who sells a lot of books through FBA, trains and hires sourcers in other states to go out and find books, send them in, and he gets a cut of that basically to duplicate him so that he can free himself up to do other things or just basically increase his inventory, make more money, to create a more passive side of the business and doing everything himself. He said a few times, and this is not anything new, I've heard this before in other videos, I've read it in books, I've seen it in Facebook posts and FBA groups, but it said that he doesn't want to trade his time for money, and implying that he would rather trade his time for something else that he wants to do or that brings him more money, etc. But the way that he said it multiple times just got me thinking and got me a little bit ticked off, because I think it is dishonest, almost an outright lie, because there's no way you cannot trade your time for money if you want to make money, whatever it is. Whether you're making $9 an hour at a job, whether you're making $100 an hour at a job, at a business, self-employed, whether you're doing FBA, whether you're running a bunch of websites, whether you have a dropship company, whether you sell socks, whether you have a barbershop, it doesn't matter. You always have to trade time for money. Even if others are working for and with you, you still have to, every day, in and out, trade your time for money. The question is, what are the things you want to spend your time on, and how much money does it produce for you? And that's kind of the thought process behind a lot of this. This guy and many others say they would rather spend their time on something else than sourcing and listing and shipping, in an example of FBA, and do other things, bigger things that bring in more money or that have maybe a bigger effect on his business, whatever it is, or just doing other things, period. But guess what? In order to get those sourcers for you, you have to spend time to eventually get that money. And ongoing, you have to spend time to eventually get that money. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to get these 10 sourcers, whether they come to you or whether you go out and get them. Guess what? You have to train them. You can put videos up, but guess what? They're still going to have questions. You have to set everything up, and then guess what? People are going to fall through the cracks. They're going to quit after a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Let's say out of 10 people, half of them are there after a year, and 3 of them are there after 2 years, which I think is very conservative. But let's say even more. The amount of sourcers you have goes down, as an example. And then you have to hire more if you want to get more. So my point is, whatever it is, you still have to trade your time for money. You can't get away from that, no matter what job or business you have. Even people that have multiple websites online, and they say that they're passive, the websites, and they largely are, but they still require some time to put into them. It might only be an hour a week. It might only be 4 hours a week. Might only be an hour a month. Whatever it is, you still have to put some time into it. And then at some point, there's going to have to be some sort of change made. You know, redesign the website. Something's not working. You have to add something new. You want to add a new product. Whatever it is, you're going to have to trade some time for money at some point, future money or current money. A more accurate statement is to say, well, I don't really want to trade my time for a low amount of money versus I have these other activities I can do, trade my time, spend 10 hours a day doing that and get more money every hour versus I do FBA, I only get ever $30 an hour. I do this other thing, I get $150 an hour. That's more honest. You say, well, I don't really want to trade my time to do sourcing and listing because I don't really like to do that, and or I think that my time is more valuable. So I'd rather find other things that bring more money, or to build upon FBA so as a whole I can make more money. That's more honest, that's more accurate. You always have to trade your time for money. So as an example, there's a guy online, which I'm sure some of you have heard of, Pat Flynn, and the website is smartpassiveincome.com. So there, I gave him a shout out. So if any of you go, let him know that I sent you. He's got a much larger following and audience than I have and probably ever will have. Just let him know. He's a really nice guy, down-to-earth guy, honest guy, open guy. And he's been running the site for like, I don't know, 6-7 years, something like that. And he makes a lot of money. The name of his site is Passive Income. Well, Smart Passive Income, but Passive Income. And he tries to show people how to set up businesses that will bring in money passively, be they websites or other types of services, but a lot of them are web-based, internet-based. And this guy over the years has built up a big following, a loyal following, and a steady passive income. However, even though he makes a lot of money off of all these different affiliate programs, he now has written several books, he does podcasts that get sponsorship, blog posts that puts affiliate links in them, etc. So a lot of different ways. He owns multiple other websites that bring in money. He has a team of people that work with and for him, virtual assistants kind of people, or people working with him remotely, etc. So he has built up all these businesses under his one umbrella, and it makes him a tremendous amount of money, like 6 figures a month. But also, even though a guy that is talking about passive income and showing how you can make passive income still has to trade his time every single day for the money that he makes. If he were to say, I'm going to take 6 months off, I'm not going to post any blog posts, I'm not going to be active on any social media, I'm not going to do any more podcasts for 6 months, I'm going to tell everybody I'm just going to take a 6-month break. I know 6 months is a long time, but let's just, as an example, how much money would he be making from the start at his peak there, where he's charging through, doing everything, and then when he comes back after 6 months? I'm willing to bet his income would still be significant by anybody's standards, but will drop significantly without him continually working every single day. And this is a guy who loves what he does, right? It seems to anyway, and likes to work hard at it. But the more businesses he builds, the more he has to work. So my point is, and that's an example of someone teaching passive income strategies online, is that even himself, even the sites that he's built, still require time for money. Back to FBA. FBA is partially passive because you're in business with Amazon. So about half of it, Amazon does for you, which is why they take their fees out. They handle the items when they come in, they store the items, they ship them out, they deal with customer complaints, they deal with returns, they deal with paying us, etc. They deal with all of that stuff. So that's the great thing about this business, is it actually is partially passive, but yet once our items are sent in, we still have to do stuff. We still have to reprice. We have to decide if we're going to get rid of items. We have to respond to customers if they complain. We have to deal with negative feedback, etc. All of that stuff we still have to do once the items are shipped into Amazon. So it's not entirely passive, but there are parts of it that are. A lot of parts of it, maybe 30-40% of it. I just don't like when that statement is made, because it's not an honest statement. I don't think when he made the statement, he was trying to be dishonest, but I think that many people think that statement is true when it's not. It's more honest to say I prefer to trade my time for more money than I'm making doing X, Y, and Z. I'd rather do A, B, C, and I make more money. Because you always have to trade your time for money. The only way I can think that you don't is if you are a trust fund child, or if you have a huge mutual fund, some sort of investment in stocks or whatnot, and is paid, you get paid capital gains, you get paid dividends, and you're getting paid 4, 5, 6% of what you have in there every year. So if you have $1 million in a mutual fund and you get paid 5%, $50,000 a year, that's basically passive. Because the mutual fund money managers manage the money, manage the stocks, do everything for you. You might have a financial advisor who says, oh, well, now go to this fund, go to that fund, etc., but they're working for you. So very, very minimal effort on your part to do anything at all. You just get those checks every month, every quarter, whatever it is, and you live your life, which is the idea when people retire. Is you have a 401k, you have an IRA, you have a 403b, you have an annuity, you have a mutual fund, etc., and then you live off of the interest, off of the dividends, off of the capital gains. That is kind of the best, the truest way to not have to trade your time for money anymore. But unless you are packing tons of money away, and that is your focus, is to do that at a young age or whenever, then you're going to have to continue to trade time for money. And also, there's nothing wrong with trading time for money. There's nothing wrong with working hard. You should work smart or smarter, but also if you like to work hard, that's great. You know, FBA, you can work hard at it. You can source a lot, list a lot, ship a lot, reprice, look for deals, look for relationships. You can work hard at it to build it up. I worked hard at it for the last, about a year, and I committed myself to growing this business, and it's grown. The sales come in and the money comes in. Every day I'm getting sales. Every day I'm making money. Every 2 weeks Amazon pays me. So that was because of work. But guess what? I have to keep working to keep the money coming in. So it's not it's not an entirely passive business or mostly passive business. I'm kind of going all over the place with this, but hopefully you guys get the drift of what I'm saying, is you always have to trade time for money. But you don't have to always trade time for a low amount of money, especially when you have options like we have now with the internet and with the FBA and things like that. You can try to trade your time for more money. It's just up to you and what you want to do. So let me know what you think. You agree, disagree? And as always, remember, keep booking.